Hi guys, it's Maudie. Welcome back to Seeking Happy. I am super excited because I'm going to do a video with you today that I have been really wanting to do with you guys, which is what I do to stay busy, happy, healthy, balanced, all of that stuff in quarantine. So I have been in quarantine for about 100 days. I was counting. Should have checked right before the video, but about 100 days. I know it's been a while for the ones of us who have been dedicated, and for anybody who has not been, you know, thank goodness that if you're watching this and you're safe up until this point, you have the chance to quarantine and stay as healthy as you can during this time. So I definitely believe in it and encourage it. This is based on that. Now, if you have been quarantining, I feel like you know, depending on how strict you've been, how many people live with you, it can get really rough mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And although there are a lot of fun ideas out there, and not to say that these ideas aren't going to be fun, but I feel like there are a lot of like fun, cute ideas out there for things to busy yourself today. But today I'm going to talk about the things I've been doing personally during quarantine that have been keeping me sane and as close to happy as I can be. Now, just a little side note, my page here, my web, what am I trying to say? My account here, my channel is called Seeking Happy. For those of you who don't know me personally, the reason that it's called Seeking Happy is actually not only because I think that's what we're constantly doing in life, but I personally struggle with anxiety and depression, and they're a part of who I am, and they, you know, are a real factor in my life, and they're definitely a real factor in quarantine. So the things that I'm going to present with you today are, like I said, what I have been doing, and I really hope that they're going to be a help to somebody out there. So that's my premise here. I'm not going to be doing, you know, I'm going to try not to be doing too much of the same stuff that you've been seeing everywhere. Oh, quick note before I get started. I have my beautiful Pride nails on, so I just had to update my look here. I usually do rainbow nails that take up one hand and I double them, but I expanded the rainbow a little bit this year, which I think is a good thing to do. So I'm super happy with them. I just did them, and I'm really glad they're going to be in this video. Just in case anybody's curious, these are almost all Sinful colors except the yellow, and that's my favorite brand of nail polish. The yellow is Sally Hansen, and the glitter is Sinful Colors layered with, I believe it's LA Colors. It was the gold glitter one that was in my Dollar Tree haul, if you got to see that. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. We're not going to go in any specific order here. This is going to be kind of all over the place, so don't click off the video yet. But I know the first one or two are actually going to be a little bit, I feel like this one's going to be a little obvious or a little redundant, but I wanted to bring it up for a couple of reasons. Definitely, I feel like everybody, since we're locked in our home, you want to make your home as livable and peaceful as possible. A lot of us don't have the problem that we have not enough of things. A lot of us have the problem that we have too many things. So if you're one of those people, now's the time. Count your blessings, gather up your things, organize your space to a way that's going to make you happier and make your time in quarantine feel healthier and easier, and use that moment to maybe pass on that stuff to other people, depending on what it is. Now, if you do feel like you have the opportunity to sell things, I have to say right now is actually a great time to do that. For the people who need something and who are quarantining, a lot of us are trying not to go to Walmart. Well, I was going to say H-E-B, but that's food. We all kind of got to go to H-E-B. That's our local grocery store here. But a lot of us are trying to stay out of the big stores. So even if we can get these things easily from another store, we might choose, like when I sell my stuff, I do a no contact pickup. So we might choose to do that option, because then we don't have to worry about running into other people. If you have any questions about that, feel free. I don't want to take up all the time with it. But it is something that you can do to bless the people around you who need things and who want to stay as safe as possible for themselves and their family while bringing yourself some peace in your home. So I just wanted to put that out there. Definitely is a good and productive pastime that's just going to make the rest of quarantine easier for you. Okay, so my second idea is kind of the first thing I had to do in quarantine, which was learn to cook. I really didn't before because we always did like fast food and convenience foods, like microwave stuff, all of that. But with quarantine, we really wanted to stay inside as much as possible and be in control of our food as much as possible. And I kind of took on more of like the family responsibility and role with this, which I know some of us probably did. So definitely something that you can do and that I did was I just went on like Pinterest and I've got wind going on in here. Tried to find the recipes for whatever I needed, including really fun ones like copycat Zuppa Toscana soup from Olive Garden. I might be saying that crazy. Copycat KFC chicken. Like, you can have fun with it. Another thing you can do if you already know how to cook is take the time to compile a family recipe book. Now, I really love this because it can be done at any point, and it's just something that the family can do to draw together. I personally, and you know, a lot of us adults no longer live with our family, don't live with our mothers, our brothers and sisters and things like that. So, you know, we've been missing each other in quarantine, and this gives us just like a fun little project to work on. And then when you're at home on your own or with your current family, and you taste, your mother's cooking, it can be extremely healing on another level. This is something that we kind of need, and now we have the time to do things like that. So, my mother actually gifted me this adorable little cookbook. Well, it's just a journal at the beginning of quarantine, and that's what I started doing. So I started out like with white rice because I'm a beginner, and every day I just try to cook something else. I have beef and broccoli. I'm really happy with that one. Meatloaf, I didn't have the packet, so I had to learn how to do the seasoning for it. And these are not only new things I know how to cook now, but a lot of them I called my mom, and asked her, how do you make it? And so that's, you can take the opportunity to do kind of a treasured thing that can stay with you for after when this is all over. So I really love that one. Okay, we're going back to a little obvious here. Stay with me. But I wanted to list coloring book, activity books, all of that. Because not only can they be really calming and really fun, which we need right now. Like, that's important. Don't overlook fun. Don't overlook calmness. And if you have kids, this is something that you can do side by side with them and just let your mind kind of turn off, for a minute to enjoy just basic art without any expectation, but also for a very important reason. I really always did like coloring books and things like that. So here I have some stuff. I have a coloring book. I have an extreme dot to dot. I have color by number. I have find a word search. I'm just reading it. And I have Sudoku. These are all excellent choices for things to do during quarantine. And the big reason for me why is because they're not done on your phone. Now, during the beginning of quarantine, I did go ahead and download a ton of apps that were like word search, games, things like that, which are great. But if you have been quarantining like me, you might know it's very possible to get migraines, headaches, just fatigue from being on the screens nonstop. So having something that you can go to that's old-fashioned, paper and pencil or whatever, gives you a rest from those things, but also just still keeps your mind active and having fun. But like I said, takes you away from the TV, the phone, and games stations or whatever that you might be spending a lot of blocks of time zoning out with, which is okay, but sometimes you need to rest from that. And by the way, I just wanted to share there are absolutely adult options. If you have not allowed yourself to indulge in things like this in a while as an adult, there are definitely options for you. You don't have to color kid things if you don't want to. This is one of my favorite artists my husband introduced me to, Tara McPherson. Gorgeous work. Quick disclaimer, not safe for children. So this is one of her books that I have of hers. She does really, really gorgeous, kind of modern, simple, beautiful art. There's some of her line work that really, really appeals to me. We love her in this house. And he got me this really awesome set that came with crayons and came with a coloring book. So this is the way her coloring book looks. And you can see basically we get her artwork in a lined form where we can fill it in. So I love that. Also, a bunch of YouTubers now have released coloring books recently. So this is like an amazing time to support the YouTube community, because I know they're, you know, keeping a lot of us mentally afloat. Okay, the next thing I've got here is practice penmanship / new fonts. So for me, I know that it had been like years since I was in school or had a job that encouraged me to handwrite anything. A lot of us are just, you know, in person or on our phones or typing these days, and my handwriting had gotten really horrible. It didn't used to be like that. So I did go ahead and just practice handwriting in some forms over quarantine. And then something you can do beyond that if you'd like, which I have a sample of here, is I have a little book where I practice different fonts. So I just kind of Pinterest, I use a lot of Pinterest or Google, and look up different kinds of fonts, and I go, wow, I think I'd like to try that. And then, you know, just kind of go through repetitively and work on those letters. It's not a big project or secret or anything, but it is cool. It is something to do with your time. It lets you zone out and relax, and again, it lets you get away from the screens for a little while. So I really like that idea, and there are a few things that you can do to write, so you're not just writing nonsense if you want. I have kind of a project I'm working on, but I will actually show you that in the next video that I do like this, because I've got quite a bit. Okay, so the next thing I've got here is to call your emotional health check buddy. So this is something that I kind of just took on in my normal life. I think it's so important to have, you know, family or friends that you have at your disposal, that you're keeping in contact with and being honest about your feelings with. So there are a lot of, you know, negative feelings that go along with quarantining, you know, loneliness, like I said, depression, if anything's going on with you. And for anybody, even anybody that was normal, that was normal before this, balanced before this, it's been a shock, you know. So I would say choose a couple of your friends, have a conversation about it, and let each other know that you've got a safe zone, a little network that you can go to of people to talk about your feelings. And sometimes, because those feelings are so intense, we want to keep talking about them. So if you got to call friend A, friend B, and friend C to have the same conversation so that you feel better, do it, you know, and let them know that they can do that with you. Now, I'm not saying just tax people with your emotions. Let it be a two-way street. Let everybody be open and accepting about what the deal is. And the deal is that we can be there for each other. So I really find this to be an important thing to do right now. Okay, the next thing I've got going on right now is self-educate, and I like to do that through a variety of resources. So we do have the Black Lives Matter movement going on right now. There is kind of, you know, I feel like not as much anymore, and I hope that there will be and would be. But, you know, basically, we're all kind of realizing as a society that we need to do better. We need to do better. We need to learn. We need to know better. And I think the beginning of that, I feel like the first step towards that is to start seeing truly what other people are experiencing in life that we have not had, to experience ourselves. So I have been really trying to go in and look at history of, experiences of, personal accounts of, and also things like literature, content, artwork. I haven't realized, and I do say this with humbleness, I'm just being honest, a lot of things, a lot of media has been very separate throughout life, and I did not even notice that. So like one of my family members pointed out to me a while ago, just like on their own, that they were realizing that we don't necessarily follow a lot of Black YouTubers. And that is something that once I realized, and I mean, that does have a lot to do with what's recommended, who you follow, and then who they recommend, and who, there's the whole thing, but that's part of the way that society has been functioning. And we started realizing that, I think as a society, we need to take it upon ourselves to fix this, and to better ourselves and to be aware, to be more aware. So that is what I've been doing. Some of the things that I've been doing that through are audiobooks. I'm basically making it a point to widen my awareness and my, be aware of my, what I'm consuming as far as information. And so audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube channels, documentaries. Basically, once you start realizing how much content is out there that you possibly have not been exposed to and never thought to go looking for, you realize, what a big to-do list you've got. So, this for me comes from a place of love, and of wanting to, like I said, be better, than I am. So I included that in here. I think it's a wonderful use of your time and something that we can all be doing. Okay, so that is that one. Now this one does go along with it a little bit, not necessarily, but puzzles and podcasts. This has been big for me. I've talked about this, I think, in a couple of videos because it's become my favorite hobby, piecing these two together. And it's because one of them is an auditory experience and one is a purely visual experience. And together, I feel like they really, really give me such a balanced state of feeling. So on the one hand, the thing that we're looking at, again, is here not screen time. It's a physical thing. It's something that we're touching, something that we're spending time on in the real world. So it's a really grounding activity, but we're pairing it because I know some of us just don't want to be with our quiet mind and nothing else. So I've paired it personally with podcasts or audiobooks that I just listen to on my phone. At the same time, I usually play them with a speaker as I work. And that way I have that education, or that entertainment, or in my case, I am using that moment a lot of the times for my own self-education, but I'm pairing that in a way that is just, like I said, so calming and so enriching. So, if you don't have a lot of puzzles in your house, I really, really recommend the Puzzle Bug brand from Dollar Tree. These are only $1. The pictures are usually really, really pretty, and on the 300 piece, the puzzle piece, I feel like is pretty comfortable for any adult to use. The pieces are not just super tiny in here, so it's a little more calming than a 500 piece or a bigger one. So I really recommend that. And then on the podcast front, I've got a couple of recommendations here for you. So I just wrote down the ones that I really have been loving. The 10% Happier podcast was my first one that I got into. My sister sent it to me, and I've been listening to it ever since. I'm hooked. And I just go to the website on my phone, podcast.apple.com. And you don't have to be an iPhone user. You don't have to have an account. You just go to this website and you can just search podcasts. So that's what I did. I loved his information before, but now he is, and I'm a little bit behind, but he is taking, a really let me think of the word. Proactive approach to exposing himself and his audience to, I feel like, what we need to expose ourselves to kind of bridge the culture gap that's going on in our society. So it's really awesome. He has a very loving and, I feel like, understanding and accepting and humble approach to it, and all kinds of speakers to help on that front. So that's a really great place to start if you just like don't even know and you maybe want to try listening to something new. Okay, so then I did try to look for other podcasts that I would like and that would expose me to, like I said, that different culture that I don't necessarily know. So I looked up Therapy for Black Girls. This is on YouTube. So this is just, and there are other forums to get to these, but these are where I get them from because I didn't know how to look up a podcast before quarantine. So on YouTube, I just look up Therapy for Black Girls. It does just show like a thumbnail and it plays the audio for you. They have some videos. I listened to the second part about loneliness in quarantine. So really, really usable information. I have to go back and listen to the first, but I loved everything I heard and just wanted to throw it out there. And then the last one is a new podcast that I haven't even listened to yet, but I really want to listen to it with my husband, which is called How Married Are You? Now, I've just discovered on YouTube, and this is also on YouTube, the channel Belief in Fatherhood. So this is a Black family that it's just kind of documenting everything that they go through as a family, which is like exactly what I was looking for. And the family themselves, they just seem so loving, understanding, everything that I really want to, be exposed to. And, it's just something really beautiful to look at and to experience. And they're very thorough with every experience that they go through. So I've been hooked on their channel ever since I saw it, which is the Belief in Fatherhood channel. I am just addicted. I'm binge watching those videos. They're so good. I just feel like they're such good people and I love it. So anyways, when they mentioned recently that they are doing a podcast where it's the husband and wife doing a podcast together on marriage, I was like, oh, I am in. So I haven't listened to that one yet, but I am super excited. Anyways, you can do any puzzles and podcasts or version of this that you like, but I wanted to give you a starting point in case you needed one like I did. Okay, so the next thing I've got here is to use blind bags as an advent calendar. So this is something that you can do for yourself or your kids. I know a lot of us are quarantined with kids and driving you kind of crazy, or I don't have kids, but my family does, my sister does, and I see them going through it. And then this is something I did for myself, so you pick and choose here what you like. But I don't know if you've seen, everybody's obsessed with those mini brands. It's a little ball that you open and it has 5 surprises in it, and they're just like the most adorable tiny things. I have some to show you. But anyways, you can use that, or you can use card packs, collector's cards like I was doing on my channel, the Spice Girls photos, and then I did the Pocahontas trading cards. I've got more fun things like that coming. But basically anything that comes with surprises that you can open, use it as a treat yourself, one a day, an exciting thing to look forward to, just to, make the days passing seem a little funner. So I've got a advent calendar here that I made for my husband during Halloween. And I kind of wanted to show it to you. It's a little difficult to get around, but I do want to do a more in-depth video on this project during Halloween because I so loved it. But anyways, you can, if you want to be super bougie, make one of these, but you don't have to. You can use the packaging itself, or you can use envelopes if you need to repackage it individually, or you can use just little bags with tissue paper and numbers or not numbers. You can just pull one every day as a surprise. So there's any number of ways that you can use this idea to where it works for you. You don't have to make it difficult. You don't have to make it fancy, but if you are crafty and if you're going crazy in quarantine, you certainly can make it fancy which just uses up more time, which is great in quarantine. So these are some of the little things that I have gotten in my, what is it called? Mini brands boxes. They're just too cute. I just love tiny stuff. They're super accurate. They have like all the writing all the way around the package and stuff like that. They're just like super, super precious. So I love this one. And when you get these, they are individually like separated. So you can certainly open one per day. Whoops, that one's gone forever. So I just wanted to show you those for an idea. But again, you can make this custom to you, however. Okay, we've got just a couple more ideas. Hang in there. I really wanted to bring it all to you. Maybe I could have done this in a couple of videos already, but I wanted to show you everything. I wanted to, you know, put these ideas out there. Okay, so one that I've got, which I'm wanted to do with my brother because we traveled before together and we just really miss it, is plan a future vacation in detail. So now I would say, of course, with this, you don't want to get really locked into ideas. You don't want to be like, oh, this is how much the hotel costs, and this is the restaurant we'll eat at, and this is the day, and this is the time, because we don't know what's going to happen coming up, or, you know, how quickly things are going to move. But in an abstract way, I feel like the idea of this is like a brainstorming. You know how whenever you're normally planning a vacation with work or whatever, you're working all the way up until the vacation. So usually you're kind of cramming in late hours at night or whatever, trying to get down the details of what you're going to do, or find enough places to eat, or where you're going to rent the car, things like that. The idea is that there's no time limit here. So as long as you treat it as abstract, I really love the idea of basically just taking all the time you need to brainstorm, kind of like what your ideal vacation would be. Like, when we all get out of here, what are we gonna do? So it, you know, it lets you do that, you know, things like plan your outfits that you would wear, plan, for me, like the photography, like what kind of shots would I want to take, what kind of places would I want to seek out, you know, so not necessarily details that are gonna change on you, but like I said, just kind of letting yourself dream and enjoy that, and realizing that you don't have to have a concrete plan coming up, but just the dreaming of it can be very freeing and uplifting. So I really liked that as an idea of what you could do for now. The next one we've got is look through photo albums or start a new one. So this is kind of one of those things, I feel like in life we do photo albums and then we never get the chance to look at them again. So I'm not going to go through the whole book with you, but this is my wedding album. And of course, it's got such good memories that came with it. I've got my vows in here. I've got, you know, all of my family, my friends. It was just such a beautiful time, and I put so much work into everything we did for the wedding and then the album, and just fixing it perfect the way I wanted, and then I like never open it. So especially because a lot of us just like are missing family right now and missing normal, I definitely think that this is just a beautiful time to break out those family albums and kind of sit around and, you know, enjoy them. That's what they were created for. That's what they were meant for. And if you don't have one, now's the time to start one. A lot of the times we print pictures and they never went anywhere. You know, they're in a shoebox or in the package they came in, and we never did anything with them. So this could be the time that you make that time to get together, family memories, your memories, you know, and be able to make something special for yourself. So I thought that was a nice idea. And then the last one, I don't know if it's super exciting, but it is super easy and another productive thing to do, which is clean out your phone gallery. Especially because a lot of us are using our phones nonstop these days. It helps to take care of it. And so what I mean here is I usually take a bajillion photos, especially like if I'm honestly taking selfies, or no, really, I mean, really any shot. I'll take like 10 in a row, and then I'll look at them and see like what the good ones are, and maybe I'll edit them and stuff, or maybe I'll post them. But I usually leave all 10 or 20 or 50 shots in my phone just because I don't go through and get rid of them. So this is something you can do whenever, you know, when you're just like super bored and you don't know what to do, or at the end of the day. I usually do this like when I'm kind of winding down and getting ready to go to sleep. And the things that I mean here are go through and delete all those extra photos. So I tried to do a little little illustration here. Go through and delete all those extra photos. Keep only the best shots, you know, when you're looking at them, be like, oh, that one's the one where I actually caught the perfect moment, and then delete all the rest. Another thing, or a couple of other things that you can do really quickly are rotate the ones that need to be rotated so that they're just correct in your phone already. For if you want to post or if you end up transferring them, that way they're transferred correctly. Crop them, so if you have something you need to crop out of a photo, or you know, just the part that was relative to you or whatever, go ahead and crop it. Or take that moment to edit. That's supposed to be a little paintbrush. Take that moment to edit the photos that you want to edit for posting or for whatever, for saving. And, you know, get rid of the originals, or, you know, that way you just have them. That way you just have the real treasures that you need, the real actual photos that came out perfect. Or, you know, if you're like me, you also just screenshot everything that you might need to reference later. Those ones are so easy to go through and like delete. And that way you have your phone functioning and ready for you to be your like best friend during quarantine, because that's what that is. Okay, so that is it. That was everything. Sorry I didn't save like a super fun one for last. I don't know, but it is, to me, super important. Anyways, I really hope that this gives you something of value, that you'll be able to use it, that, you know, even if it's just that you were entertained for these 30 damn minutes of the video. Sorry for that. Okay, I better get out of here. But anyways, love you for watching. Comment, please, if you do watch. Let me know where you're from, or what you're doing in quarantine. I definitely do want to make a second one of these, but let me know if you would like to see something like that, or anything else, or what things you think should be in a video like this. And please, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, just because it would make my day. And that's it. Okay, bye.